What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Gonna talk about Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin, aka Triple G. Will the third fight take place or will it not take place? Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. Look here. Right after Triple G demolished Rolls Royce a couple of weeks ago, right after that fight, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo's promoter, came out with a tweet. And he basically, I'm going to paraphrase, he basically said, nice comeback win, Triple G. Now go get a title and we'll consider giving you a third fight. That's basically what Oscar De La Hoya, he was trolling Triple G. And I think when I first heard that, that's why I didn't do a video about this fight possibly not taking place. Reason why I didn't do this earlier, because people kind of tend to forget before the rematch, there was a lot of bad blood in that negotiations when they were negotiating that rematch. Oscar De La Hoya pulled out of negotiations for the rematch and called Eddie Hearn, who is Danny Jacobs' promoter, and asked Eddie Hearn, will he accept the 75-25 split between Canelo and Danny Jacobs? And Eddie Hearn told him no, they wanted more than the 25% of the revenue for that fight. So he ended up going back to the negotiating table and then giving Triple G what he wanted. Triple G wanted 45%. I think the first offer was like maybe 30%, somewhere between 30 and 35%. And Triple G maintained that he was steadfast in his demand that he wanted 45%. And Oscar De La Hoya ended up conceding to his wishes. And I think Triple G got other concessions too, as far as he got other concessions that he demanded. So he was able to get everything that he wanted. He was able to pretty much get. He got a higher split, 45%, and he got a lot of other concessions. And I think it was a lot of bad blood, after that negotiations for the rematch. And Triple G, leading up to the rematch, said a lot of derogatory things about Canelo. True, but derogatory as far as Canelo Alvarez was concerned. He said that, he basically said he didn't believe the contaminated beef story that Canelo and his team tried to portray as far as the reason why they failed the PED. He said he didn't believe that, and he basically said that he believed that Canelo was juicing before the first fight. So it was a lot of bad blood, man. Canelo didn't take kindly to those comments by Triple G. So it was a lot of bad blood going into the rematch, and I thought basically Oscar De La Hoya was trolling Triple G. But now it's coming to light that one of the main sticking points in the third fight taking place is location. Triple G is steadfast in saying that he doesn't want to fight in Las Vegas. He feel that he got robbed in both fights with Canelo in Las Vegas. When you look at the first fight, I thought Triple G won the fight. I don't think people throw around robbery too casually. I don't think he got robbed in the first fight, but I actually thought he won the first fight. I think I had around 7-5, I think, for Triple G in the first fight. I thought he won the first fight. The rematch I actually had is 6-6. But if you had to give the rematch, the second fight, you had to. If I had to pick a winner, if I could, if you had to pick a winner, and a loser in that fight, I thought Canelo landed the hardest shots and the cleanest shots. But Canelo's problem was that he faded in the rematch. He didn't fade as bad as he did in the first fight, but he faded nonetheless, as Triple G was at it rarely in the championship rounds, in my opinion, and pull out a draw in that rematch. That's one thing that Canelo's going to have to. He's improved on his stamina. It's better than what it was before, because he's had problem with stamina. Stamina in fights. He's first half of the fighter in the championship rounds. His lead is so big that it don't end up costing him. But he's faded in a lot of fights. But he's improved in that. But it's still not where it needs to be. You know, you got potential fights coming up with maybe a Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade. He's gonna have to, his stamina's gonna have to be better than he has shown in his career to beat those guys. So we'll see what happens, man. But I think that's the problem, the location. Triple G wants to fight in New York, Madison Square Garden, and Canelo them, you know, they want to fight in Vegas. You know, he is the pay-per-view star, the pay-per-view king. You know, Vegas during that week they can go up on the hotel rates. The casino's gonna have a lot of high rollers, a lot of Latinos down there spending a lot of money on those slot machines. And that weekend and the fight leading up, the week leading up to the fight and the weekend leading up to the Canelo fights produced a lot of money for Las Vegas. So, you know, when you have that type of situation, and you know you got a clear A side in Canelo. It's not the simple case of you paying off judges. You know, you're in some back room, you know, paying off judges to give fights to Canelo, you know, and stuff like that. You know, I think it's just everybody knows that you know it's something that's very subtle, something that's very in the back of people's minds. It might not be in the forefront of people's mind, but it's in the back of people's mind. Judges. You know, and judges, as far as judges and stuff, they know who's the money guy. They know who's the reason why this event is so big. The reason why this event is going to produce a lot of revenue. The judges know this. So him being the clear A side, the clear house fighter, anything close, he's gonna get the benefit of the doubt, and that's one of the reasons why. Triple G don't want to fight him in Vegas. He feels that fighting Canelo in Vegas is basically, you know, knowing that you know the fight's gonna probably be a competitive fight, just like the first and second fight, and he's gonna end up being on the short end of the stick, just like he was in the first and second fight. That's the reason why that's the reason why Triple G would rather fight him in New York. He thinks it'll be a level playing field. You know, simple fact that Canelo doesn't fight. You know, most of his fights are in Las Vegas. He hardly ever fights in New York. We fought Rocky Fielding. That was his first time fighting in New York, and he destroyed him. So he think he gets a fair shake in New York. You know, so I don't see Canelo giving up the location to Triple G. I don't see him going to fight Triple G in his you know, where he's had a lot of success in. And Canelo's fought one time now. I don't see him giving it up. I think Canelo feels that he is a clear A side, and he dictates the location of the fight. So I think that is I think that is a sticking point. I think that is a deal breaker that will probably keep this fight from taking place in September the 14th, in my opinion. I don't think this fight takes place. I think the location is a deal breaker. I don't think either side is going to budge. I think Triple G is going to hold firm. He said he got burnt twice in Las Vegas. He felt he won both fights, and he felt that Canelo got the benefit of the doubt, being basically the clear A side fighter that's produced a lot of fights in Vegas, produced a lot of revenue in Vegas, took over the throne from Mayweather as far as being king, being the pay-per-view king, and being the favorite fighter of Vegas. He basically took that throne from Mayweather as being Vegas A-side #1 fighter. And I don't think Triple G think he can get a fair shake outside of knocking Canelo out. You know, he feels that if the fight is competitive, he's gonna get the short end of the stick. So so that's the main sticking point for that fight. So we'll see what happens. You know, if Canelo don't fight Triple G, he doesn't have a lot of great options, because maybe he fights the Andrade so lucky winner, but I think Andrade win. I think Golden Boy will try to steer Canelo away from that fight, because that's a bad stylistic matchup for Canelo. I don't see that fight happening. If Lucky pulls an upset, maybe they take that fight, but I think it's going to probably come down to two options for Canelo. I think you're looking at Callum Smith or David Lemieux. I think it's going to be one of those two guys. Callum Smith is a UK fighter that doesn't nobody really know in the U.S. He hasn't even headlined a fight here in the U.S. And over there in the UK, he's not a big draw over there either. You know, he's got fans over there, just like a lot of fighters over there have fans. But he doesn't have the fan base of an Anthony Joshua or Amir Khan had, or Kell Brook, or even a Tyson Fury. He doesn't even have that type of fan base. So, you know, they Golden Boy would have to make a tough decision. Will they want to fight Callum Smith in Las Vegas in T-Mobile Arena? You know, that's where they pretty much you know, where Canelo pretty much been fighting all his fights. That's pretty much his main arena that he fights in. You know, he's basically call that Canelo's home arena. Will they fight Callum Smith, a guy that doesn't draw? He has never headlined an event in the U.S., but you know, they be relying strictly on Canelo's drawing power, which to me has been subdued fighting on the Zone, the app. You know, instead of putting it on pay-per-view where his name can carry a lot of weight. I think he fought Liam Smith, and that fight did over 300,000 pay-per-views, and made, you know, and did a great gate at AT&T Stadium. I think it was over 30,000 fans in Dallas, Texas for that fight, and he ended up putting a good number up, you know, with his drawing power. But he wouldn't have those same advantages on the Zone. Number one, if they fight in T-Mobile, you know, it'll probably sell out and probably do a solid gate. But you know, with the Zone subscription and stuff, his money is guaranteed, so he's gonna get his $30 million anyway. But how much would the Zone lose putting that fight up on the Zone when they, you know, him fighting a Callum Smith would not bring the casual fans to the Zone. I don't see that happening. So I think that fight would lose a lot of money. Just like I subscribe to the fact that when he fought Rocky Fielding, I think that was when they was on that free trial basis with the Zone. But after that, the Zone subscription didn't increase or didn't jump dramatically after he fought Rocky Fielding, or didn't hold at a high level after he fought Rocky Fielding. So you know, you fight another UK fighter that's you know, very little, you know, is not known at all in the U.S., and I think the numbers will probably be similar to the Rocky Fielding numbers. So we'll see what happens, man. Don't have a lot of options. Or he can fight David Lemieux. That'll be an in-house fight for Golden Boy. David Lemieux is a guy with, you know, knockout power in both hands, but he's a fighter that's very limited skill-wise. Canelo would be able to box circles around him and probably win an easy 12-round unanimous decision, or maybe a late stoppage. But it'll be a fight that, you know, David Lemieux has very little chance to win. He has the knockout. He has you know, if I catch Canelo with a shot, I can knock him out. He have the knockout punch, but that'd be his only chance. But Canelo is shown that he has a real good chin, and he's shown that he's very defensive responsible. So he's not the type of guy that gets caught with shots, sloppy with his defense or nothing like that. He's really tightened that up here recently. His defense is very improved greatly, and he's one of the, to me, man, he's one of the elite defensive fighters in the game right now. Quiet as kept. Very, very good, very, very strong defensive fighter in Canelo. So that would be a easy fight and an easy fight to win. You know, a fight that nobody would be excited about. You know, looking at, you know, considering the fact that it's a clear favorite, and the underdog will have what you call a punch of chance, and that's it. So that's the two options he's looking at. You know, Callum Smith. You know, let's go back to the Callum Smith fight. Maybe they take that fight over to the UK. They put it up in one of those big stadiums over there in Wembley or Cardiff, and you know, Canelo with his drawing power, maybe they can get 50, 60,000 fans in that stadium and watch Canelo fight one of their own fighters in Callum Smith. Maybe they can do it over there. But the problem is that fight will be shown over here in the United States around 5 o'clock. How many viewers will they get on the Zone during that time on a Saturday? It will, you know, instead of, you know, putting it on, you know, they didn't do great numbers with Canelo fighting in prime time, with Danny Jacobs fighting in prime time, against Rocky Fielding fighting in prime time. They didn't do great numbers. Now you're asking them to do even better numbers, and you're fighting in the middle of the day on a Saturday, you know, against a lesser known fighter than in Callum Smith than it was when you fought Jacobs in prime time. The numbers going to be significantly down, and you know, pretty soon the Zone's going to have to start. You know, they're putting up a lot of money and paying the fighters a huge sum of money, multi-fight deals. They're going to have to start showing showing some revenue and show some fights that's producing revenue and producing positive revenue here real soon, man, because they're losing a lot of money right now in these fighters, man, because these fights are not generating the money they're putting into a lot of these top fighters. So we'll see what happens, man. But again, Canelo, Triple G, to me, is not going to happen. Like I said, the sticking point is the location, and I don't see either fighter budging. Triple G got a strong point in. He don't want to get burnt twice fighting Canelo in Vegas, knowing it's going to be a close competitive fight, and knowing he's not going to get the be on the right side as far as the judges are concerned. And Canelo being the clear side and his clear dislike for Triple G, with Triple G calling him a PD cheat and stuff like that, and Triple G saying that he was, Triple G manager Abel Sanchez, Triple G former manager Abel Sanchez saying he was Floyd Mayweather's and he didn't fight Mexican style and he owed the Mexican fans a toe-to-toe battle in the rematch. So it's a lot of bad blood. Canelo and his trainer, I don't think they gonna want to bow down to Triple G at all in this situation. Triple G is in a strong position too because he's got a multi-fight deal with the Zone. I think there was some rumors going around that he got some kind of ownership in the Zone. I don't know if that's the case, some kind of percentage. Maybe he's a minority owner. Maybe I heard they were negotiating that when they was trying to sign him. I don't know if he actually was able to get that in the contract, but nevertheless, man, he's got a big contract with the Zone that he signed, and he's basically the number 2 boxer over there behind Canelo on the Zone. So both guys are in strong position right now, and both guys knowing both guys are in strong position, and both guys I don't think are willing to budge on the location. So I don't see that fight happening. So it is what it is, man. But me myself, I'm not disappointed in there. You might have a lot of fans disappointed, but I didn't really want to see a third fight. I'd rather those guys fight fresh faces, fight other fighters. I wouldn't mind seeing Canelo fight Demetrius Andrade, try to unify at 160 before moving up to 168. And I like to see Triple G fight like a Jamar Charlo, man. Yeah, them two together, they're probably the next 2 guys, available on the ranking behind Canelo. But Canelo got one title that he's trying to collect, and he can try to collect that with the Selecki Andrade winner. And the next 2 guys to me in line that's ranked at 160 are Jamal and Triple G, and let those two guys fight, and then the winner of that fight, the winner of Canelo versus Andrade, Selecki winner, be almost like a de facto World Boxing Super Series tournament at 160. That's what I would like to take place. You see some fresh faces, man, and when the smoke clears and the last 2 standing are Canelo and Triple G, then by all means, that's how the trilogy. I would have no problem with it then. But to have it right now, after you fought twice and it's pretty much seen that movie, we know how that fight's gonna go. It's gonna be a very close fight, and both guys gonna be saying they won the fight after it's over, and it's not gonna be a clear-cut winner in either fight. It's gonna be somebody upset, feeling they got robbed, quote unquote robbed. That's a word that's used way too much. Robbery is like, to me, Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Stern. That's a robbery. Robbery is Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield won. That's a robbery. It wasn't that robbery. If you lose a fight 7-5, that's not a robbery. A robbery is Mayweather and Canelo when Adelaide Byrd had that fight 114. That was a robbery on Adelaide Byrd's part. That's a robbery. But people throw that word around way too casually. It was not a robbery. Both fights were close, and like I said, the first fight I thought Triple G won, as he came on like he did, and he came on the second half of that fight and pulled that fight out. I thought he won it 7-5. Some people even had it maybe 8-4 Triple G, but I had it 7-5, and it ended up being a draw. And the second fight was close too. I thought Canelo fought a better fight, more aggressive, landed the harder punches, landed the cleaner punches, but he faded again like he did in the first fight, but not as bad as the first fight. He didn't fade as bad, and he was able to get that, in my opinion, get a draw. So It's too, the third fight, I don't see it going too much different. A lot of people saying Triple G done got a little older and got a little slower, but Triple G never was fast. Triple G is a guy that knows how to cut the ring off, and he knows how to throw his punches at different speeds, and he knows how to get his punches off. He knows how to cut that corner off, get his punches out. He does a good job of both fights. He did a good job of, especially in the first fight, he did a good job of getting Canelo against the ropes and kind of pinning him against the ropes where he didn't have no escape routes, and he was able to land his punches, stuff like that. He does a good job of that. He's not going to be a guy that's fast. He just like at 36. He was slow at 36 and he was slow at 26. He never was a guy with a fast hand speed. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather type of hand speed. Sugar Shane Mosley at lightweight type of hand speed. So people saying he's slowing down. Nah, he's the same old Triple G he was the first two fights. He's got a real good jab. He knows how to cut off the ring. You might kind of do well early on in the fight, but he's a methodical puncher. He kind of breaks you down, and as the fight goes on, he breaks you down, and he comes on in the second half of the fight, and he kind of wears you down with his pressure and his accuracy in his punches, and his variety of punches, and his jab. So he's an underrated boxer, Triple G. So I think the third fight will be a lot like the first fight, be very close. Canelo has shown that he's one of the best technical boxers in the game right now. He'll be looking good early on in that fight. Only way I see that fight being a little bit different if Canelo's stamina is good. His stamina was much better against Jacobs. He didn't really have no stamina issues against Jacobs. But Jacobs, to me, didn't let his hands go. He didn't put enough pressure on Canelo early in the fight where his stamina could have came into play in the second half of the fight. He didn't put enough pressure on him. Canelo was way too relaxed in there, slipping punches, head movement. A lot of times Jacobs couldn't connect, and he didn't make Canelo work like Triple G made him work in both fights. Even though Canelo was having success in both fights early on, Triple G was making him work with that pressure. Pressure is like physical pressure and mental pressure. And he was able to, it paid dividends in both fights, especially in the second half of the fight. And I think it'll be the same scenario in the third fight. I think his relentless pressure will end up wearing down Canelo in the second half of the fight, and it'll come down to how many rounds Canelo will be up before that transpire. How many rounds would he have put up in his bank account before that transpire? The inevitable stamina issue that he'll have fighting a pressure fighter like Triple G. So we'll see what happens, man. But that's a lot of speculation, man. But hopefully these guys look at other opponents. Let's see some fresh faces. Let's see some. We've seen the movie, the Triple G Canelo movie, to the two-part movie. Let's see something else. And like I said, the smoke settles, and we have Canelo against Jamal Charlo. That'll be something. That'll be a great fight that you can put on the Zone or put it on Showtime pay-per-view or Fox pay-per-view. If the smoke settles, you got Andrade against Andrade against Triple G. That'd be good. That'd be something different, something fresh face. You got a slick boxer with the technician fighting the pressure fighter. That's a great, devastating body puncher. Got power in both hands. Great power puncher. That would be a good storyline. That would be a good fight, a good anticipated fight. So I just want to see the top two fighters at 160 fight. And I'm not sure right now. That's Triple G and Canelo. It could be Canelo and Jacobs. It could be Canelo and Andrade. It could be Jacobs and It could be Triple G and Andrade. We don't know that, but I like to just see some. I just like to see like a de facto tournament and let these guys fight it out and find out who really is the king at 160. And we don't need to see a third fight right now. Find out who's the best at 160. We need to see what these other guys bring to the table. Jamal Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, and see what these guys bring. Even Selecki's got to fight. If he upsets Andrade, put him in there with Canelo. And then you have on the other side you have Jamal Charlo versus Triple G, and let them winners fight. That'll be what I would like to see. But we'll see what happens, man. But probably within the next couple of weeks or next week or two, Maybe they'll have an announcement on who Canelo's fighting next. If Canelo does go in another direction, it'll be interesting to see what Triple G does, because he doesn't have a lot of options if he don't fight Canelo. He's been bum bashing for a while here outside of Canelo. He fought a blown up junior middleweight Don King fighter when Canelo got suspended the first time, and that was he fought up in the Stubb Center, and that was a fight that nobody asked for. When Demetrius Andrade was all over social media asking for the fight, Triple G didn't want to take that up. They fought that 154 pounder, and then after he fought Canelo in the rematch, he come around and fight Rolls Royce, a guy nobody heard of. So hopefully, if he don't get the Canelo fight, he'll take on Jamal Charlo or somebody like that. Or if Canelo decides to move up to 168 and fight Callum Smith, maybe Triple G will fight a Demetrius Andrade Selection winner, and then earn his strikes for a trilogy with Canelo, assuming Canelo wins his next fight. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it transpires. Just my 2 cents on it, man, on a Canelo Triple G situation, man, and we'll see what takes place in the next week or two. Is when the announcement come out for who Canelo fighting in September 14, Mexican Independence Day. All right, y'all. I'm about to get up. I'm finna get ready to get up out of here, man. And I just want get up out of here, man. Hope y'all guys have a good weekend, and y'all stay safe, man. Stay safe. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.